Here you're back with Eon Tempo. You already know Eon Jasu, all of that. You know, if we stand tall, it's because we stand tall on the backs of our ancestors. This is an African proverb, and when I came across it, I really was thinking how crucial it is to have a spiritual link and connection with your ancestors. Being connected with your ancestors allows yourself to be more aware of the current situations that you have put yourself in, the types of people you have around you, the types of energies you allow to impact yourself. You know, when you're understanding where you're coming from, you understand where you want to go. That's what the biggest thing that I've realized in rekindling. I'm talking about going through the DNA sequences, the two snakes, the Kundalini. That's what the DNA basically is, another form of. And that's just information that we've had in past lives in different states of consciousness in which we can access through different ways and whatnot. So when I speak on our ancestors are very vital as they have manifested the world that we live in currently as well. And when we disregard the things and attributes they've given to us, it's just a slap, not just in their face, but in our own faces, as we are the predecessors. We are the ones that are supposed to bear the fruits, are supposed to really and truly benefit from what we have accomplished. So it is very important to honor those who came before you. And even in past incarnations, you might have been that same person that was putting in that work, and because you don't remember, you treat it as such a state, or you've become too fascinated, glorifying the material things rather than honoring the principles that got you here in the first place. The African proverb speaks on the journey in which life is, the journey and the struggle, the day to day. You get up, you push yourself to be better. Whether you feel the vibes or not, you're still striving. Too many times we're too stuck on just feeling good all the time, when to feel good you have to go through that storm, you have to go through those darker vibes or those lighter vibes, because the word dark gets misconstrued, because darkness is essentially richness, you feel me, all of that. So when them time come for just really understand and overstand that to be your best version, you have to have a connection, whether that's having these images or any type of reminder to keep yourself grounded. Therefore, you can be your best version. For me, on my journey, I've come to realize that paying homage is beneficial to me. Making these videos, it gives me different perspectives, different ways in which I can think about reaching other people, communicating with other people, different ways I can heal my body naturally, holistically. This is some dandelion root. The roots, these types of things, they might be bitter, but these are the types of things our ancestors would take because they knew it was good for us, not because we wanted that quick dopamine fix, this whole gratification system we have now. Back then it was more rooted in a culturally understood that to live abundantly and to live over generations, not even just in this life, you have to cultivate these habits. We get too fixated on what we see other people doing rather than staying the course which our ancestors knew was the best way and was the more proper way of living. And when I talk about this, a lot of time people feel that it cuts out individuality, but individuality was valued more than it is now, as the media portrays people to feel like if you're not living this lifestyle, you're not saying nothing, you're not a black in person, you're not a nigga, you're not a hood man, you're not whatever the case is. When realistically that's is a detrimental lifestyle. Those hoodmans don't want to be hoodmans. Those niggas, you're trying to uplift yourself in a sense. So the biggest thing to me is understanding that, that life is what you make it, not what somebody told you or what your environment is of. Because you can't transcend your environment if you're constantly dwelling in those vibes, if you're constantly believing and telling yourself that this is all I am, this is the only thing I can do in life. And that's why it's in the state it's in. Not enough people stepping out of that comfort zone to realize there's more to life than just what we perceive. And when I say we, as in the different places I've been, rather that's living in Milwaukee or living in Toronto or in Jamaica, I've seen how my people have been living in a sense. And when a lot of us feel like if you're not living a certain way, you have no other options when it's limitless. We live in a limitless universe. So it's crucial and imperative to just start analyzing, really start, thinking about the actions we have, because each action ripples into the ethers. I believe Marcus Aurelius said that. And basically we have to really look at ourselves and how we can influence others and truly benefit ourselves and be a positive role model for the next generation, so they don't have to live in that circumstances and create these types of, whether it's generational wealth, generational spirituality, transcending the status quo that's been given onto us. Yeah, keep staying in tune, keep staying locked in to your purpose, and remember that you are your greatest idol, your greatest version, your greatest being, and that you're in charge of what your ancestors have laid the foundation for you. Peace and prosperity.